Hello and welcome to Sports News Africa, the home of Africa's sporting conversation. Here's a look at some of the stories making the headlines. Foreign players in South Africa fear for their safety as xenophobic attacks continue to rise. Hosts Uganda on par with defending champion South Africa in the Uganda Golf Championship. And only 4 teams now remain with a shot at the Africa Beach Soccer Championship title. Thank you for watching Sports News Africa. I'm Timothy Debesai. We start with South Africa, where foreigners remain on high alert as xenophobic attacks continue to rise in some parts of the country. Now, Zimbabwe international striker Tendai Ndoro, who plays from Mpumalanga Black Aces in eastern South Africa, has raised fears for his safety in the wake of the attacks on fellow Zimbabweans and other immigrants that have already claimed the lives of at least 5 people in Durban townships. Bafana coach Shakes Mashaba has joined millions of South Africans condemning the recent spate of attacks. We can now speak to Ndoro's Zimbabwe teammate George Chikova, who also plays in South Africa for SuperSport United in Pretoria. George, these are extremely trying times for immigrants and foreigners in South Africa at the moment. What are your concerns?
Yeah, for my person, I think this thing is criminality, because we can't do such things because like other foreigners are living in our country. This is not human. That's what I think.
Your club, SuperSport United, are based in Pretoria. Has any of the violence spread to that region?
So far, I haven't heard nothing in Pretoria. Maybe with time, they're going to come, but so far, nothing is come in Pretoria.
What has been your own personal experiences since you've been playing in South Africa?
Yeah, for my own experiment, it's good. It's better than in Zim. I think the facilities are good here, and there's a lot of exposure, and financially also is good, better than in Zim.
George, your Zimbabwe teammate Tendai Ndoro plays for Mpumalanga Black Aces, has been vocal in expressing his concerns. What has he told you?
No. I haven't spoken to him directly.
Have you received any support from the PSL?
Yeah, so far for the past few days, I think the PSL, they've been sending messages to the whole country to season opening. And also our club, they've been supporting us through this thing. So I think we've been getting a lot of support.
What would you like the authorities to do to allay your concerns?
I think the government, they have to do something, because these things is not about, I think it's politically. And I think the president and the government have got every right to stop these things. And I think the government have got something to do about it. So they have to do something.
George Chikova, thank you for speaking to Sports News Africa. The African Zone 6 Golf Championship teed off at the Kitante Golf Course in Kampala, with host Uganda sharing the lead after day 1 with defending champions South Africa. Uganda put on a stellar performance on a wet day of the opening round as they try to win the tournament for the first time.
The Zone 6 Golf Championship finally kicked off in Kampala as players from Kenya, South Africa, Zimbabwe, Namibia and Uganda battled out on the greens at Uganda Golf Club. The hosts were off to an impressive start as they muscled their way past other countries to draw with defending champions South Africa at 6.5 points. Adolf Muhumuza was the star of the show on Thursday as he was drawn against South Africa's Matthew Spacey, a nephew to legendary professional golfer Ernie Els. Muhumuza was most impressive at the 18th hole as he holed a monster birdie putt to force a share of spoils with the defending champions.
We've got 3 wins already and a half. And the half from Muhumuza was an important half because we're playing against a defending champion, and that is the seed 1 in this tournament. So we're really quite impressed with how the boys are faring. So we are hoping for the very best by the end of the day.
Kampala experienced rain in the morning, making the golf course significantly wet. But the South African team shook that off and forged ahead early on.
It was very good. I played a really very good round of golf today. The course was a bit wet today. I think the course held up pretty nicely. With all the rain they had this morning, I think the course is still in very good shape. and it's a test because the rough is growing by the minute. So I think of course he's playing. I think a shot or two tougher than yesterday, but I'm very happy with the performance so far. Yeah.
Kenya, tied in second place with Zimbabwe on 5.5 points, also had a good run.
For me, I think today is a good day for setting the pace. And for me, I've done my part because I've won my match and I've played well. I've beaten Namibia 1. And so far I can say the course is good, and I think we are faring well as Kenya.
Other teams like Botswana, however, experienced challenges with the weather.
I'm disappointed on my side individually, but the team today is doing pretty well. We're up on 3 and we're halving the 4th game, and we're down on a few, but the game's not over for them, so hopefully they'll come back. In the morning today, it was pretty tough because of all the rain and stuff, and so it was an unexpected dynamic that we were playing in compared to a 2-ball. We were playing a 4-ball, so it was fair conditions though.
At the end of day 1, Uganda and South Africa were on 6.5 points, followed by Kenya and Zimbabwe, also at 5.5. Zambia have 3.5 points, while Botswana at 3. The 21st edition of the tournament will run until the 18th of April at the Uganda Golf Club in Kantante, Kampala.
Welcome back to Sports News Africa. It's going to be an action-packed weekend across the African continent, with 32 clubs in total involved in CAF Champions League and Confederation Cup fixtures. Let's start with the Champions League, where 9 North African clubs remain in the competition's last 16. Defending champions Entente Setif are one of 3 Algerian sides still involved. El Ulma and USM Algiers are the other 2. Setif are away to Sudanese side Al Merrikh for the first leg of their last 16 match. Democratic Republic of Congo's TP Mazembe confront Malian in Mali, while Sanga Balende have home advantage over Sudan's Al Hilal in the only matches with no North African involvement. Egyptian giants Al Ahly are away to Maghreb Tetouan of Morocco. 16 sides will also battle it out in the Confederation Cup for a place in the competition's quarter-finals. All eyes will be on Swaziland's Royal Leopards, who have already surprised many by making it this far. The team is made up of police officers. They welcome V Club from DRC. South Africa's only remaining team, Orlando Pirates, travel to Gabon to face Munana. Well, some exciting fixtures there in CAF's premier competition. We spoke to South African sports correspondent Mo Ali for his perspective on this weekend's round of fixtures.
Well, some very big teams, of course. Al Ahly, 8 times champions and desperate to get the trophy back again after losing out last season, although they did win the CAF Confederation Cup. Entente Setif obviously are keen to retain their title. I think, 11 of the 16 sides left in the Champions League are from North Africa, if you count Sudan as a North African country as well. And, some big derbies, as you mentioned, Tetouan up against Al Ahly. Tetouan, the Moroccan champions. Certainly it's going to be a tough game for Al Ahly, who are trying to re-establish their continental dominance. And for Javier Garrido, the Spanish coach of Al Ahly, I think, it's almost a non-negotiable for him to go on and win the Champions League. But it's not going to be easy because the rivalry between the North African countries, whether it's at national or international level or at club level, is very, very fierce indeed. We've also got, another outside of North Africa, we've got Stade Malien against TP Mazembe. TP Mazembe, another very ambitious club and desperate to get their hands back on the Champions League title after last winning it in 2010. And they did ever so well to eliminate the very big spending Mamelodi Sundowns from South Africa in the previous round. And I think TP Mazembe are a dangerous side, particularly on their home turf. And, in this round against Stade Malien, they are playing away from home in their first leg. So they're going to be a tough side to look out for as well. And then watch out for Smoha, the team that eliminated Enyimba in the previous round, the Egyptian team. And, if you can eliminate the side of the quality of Enyimba, then you've got to have something about you as well. And Raja Casablanca, they've got everything to play for in this Champions League because they're way out of contention in their national league. And this really is an opportunity for them to win silverware. So, teams who are not really in contention in their domestic league, obviously very, very dangerous because they've got a single focus. Yeah, I think that the North African teams have the advantage in that they don't have to travel particularly large distances. If they play, for example, they play each other, they go, 1-2 hour plane trip. If an Egyptian side, for example, plays a Tunisian side or an Algerian or Moroccan side, the distances aren't that big for them. And even if they go to West Africa, it's not a long trip as long as it would be from South Africa up to North Africa or to West Africa. And I think that is a big advantage that the North African sides have. And also, in terms of finances, the South African teams have often been accused of prioritizing their domestic competitions simply because they can win a similar amount of money in the South African league, or winning, for example, in the MTN 8 competition, which is a top 8 competition. You play 4 games and you win about $750,000. So you can see, you can make up the sums and see that, when the teams have to figure out how much money they have to spend on traveling and accommodation in playing in the African competitions, it's 10 million rand, it's almost $1 million to win the league.
It's time now to take a look at some of the other stories making the headlines across the continent. Zimbabwean boxer Charles Manucci's World Boxing welterweight title defense has been moved to July after his bout with Mexican opponent Silveira Ortiz in Lusaka was cancelled. Manucci will now fight Gianluca Frieza in Italy in July. Organizers have already scheduled a preparatory fight for Manucci and will face Tanzanian Ibrahimu Klaas in a 6-round bout in Lusaka. Meb Keflezighi is hoping to successfully defend his title when he runs in the Boston Marathon on Monday. Last year, the Eritrean-born athlete became the first American man to win in Boston since 1983. The race on Monday also marks a year since the city was rocked by a terrorist attack that killed 3 people and wounded 264. Turkish Super League football team Fenerbahce returned to the pitch after an almost 2-week absence following the gun attack on their team bus earlier this month. The club had said it would not play until the crime was solved, but although investigators are still working on the case, the club's director said Fenerbahce had agreed to play after receiving security assurances from the government. And there are reports that Zimbabwe cricket coach Dave Watmore has signed a long-term deal to coach the national team. 60-year-old Watmore, who came on board late last year, was initially given the job until the end of the Cricket World Cup. However, it now appears that Watmore will be allowed to build for the future. The semi-final lineup in the CAF Beach Soccer Championship in the Seychelles has now been completed. All 8 teams had been involved in their third and final group matches on Thursday, and here's a roundup of those games.
Tournament favourites Nigeria booked their place for the semi-finals of the Beach Soccer Championship, winning a 13-goal thriller against the Ivory Coast. The match had ended 6-all in regulation time, with both teams already assured of making the last 4 after winning their opening 2 fixtures. Emeka Ogbonna scored the extra-time winner to seal the victory for the Super Sand Eagles. Madagascar made it 3 wins from 3 with a convincing 8-2 win over Morocco. The Malagasy started in a hurry in this one, scoring twice in the opening 20 seconds of the match, only to be pegged back to 2-2 2 minutes later. But the goals continued to rain in for Madagascar for a resounding victory. Egypt won their first game of the tournament, beating hosts Seychelles by 5-2. The Egyptians scored first and took a 2-0 lead before seeing the hosts fight back, getting to within 1 goal on 2 separate occasions. But in the end, the Pharaohs were too much, pulling away late in the second period. Ghana also won their first game of the competition, defeating defending champion Senegal for a 5-3 win. Both teams had the chance of progressing into the last 4, with Ghana needing to win by 3 clear goals to advance. However, it was the Lions of Teranga that went through, courtesy of a superior goal difference.
So here's how the teams finished in their respective groups. The Super Sandy Eagles of Nigeria finished top of Group A, followed by Ivory Coast. Host Seychelles finished bottom of the pile, having lost all 3 ties. Madagascar and Senegal are also into the final 4 after finishing first and second, respectively. Senegal finished ahead of Ghana and Morocco on goal difference. Nigeria take on defending champion Senegal on Saturday. Madagascar will play Ivory Coast. The winners for both games will play in Sunday's final. The 2 finalists also secure automatic qualification for the 2015 FIFA Beach Soccer World Cup in Portugal. And that's the end of Sports News Africa for today. Join us on Saturday when we will look back at some of the stories that made the headlines this past week. Bye for now.